My name is Jose Manuel Philipsac, and I did the presentation with William Joel, and we're going to talk about vaccines and healthcare bias, or vaccinations and healthcare bias. Well, this first part is a whole introduction of the whole topic that William Joel is responsible for. But well, we all know what COVID is and how vaccination is going and who are the people that are anti-vax. So I think that we can go over that. I'm going to talk about why are people avoiding the vaccine in the first place, the root of the problem, right? So there are 5 main factors. Over here we have confidence, complacency, calculation, constraints or convenience, and collective responsibility. Let's go over them one by one. Confidence. Confidence is put in that way because it's the most important one and probably the one that has the most impact in people not getting the vaccine. Here we are talking about confidence in the vaccine itself and also confidence in the healthcare system, right? For example, when we talk about confidence in the vaccine, since vaccines are long-term developments that take 10 to 15 years to develop fully, and they have to go on through a lot of phases of try and error, seeing how people react to them, and that takes a lot of time. And since this vaccine was made in like 2 years, people see that whole process getting cut only into 2 years and get a little uneasy about that, and I can totally understand it, and it's a totally reasonable claim to do and thing to watch out for. And that is one of the biggest things that people took account for right now, with Canada being like an 80% 2 doses vaccination. It is not as common, but in the early stages of the vaccine, when it just dropped, this was the biggest claim that people did. Also, talking about not having confidence or not being able to trust the government. This can be for a whole lot of reasons, but what I think that represents the most out of these lack of trust in the government would be things like the Tuskegee syphilis study that was done on Black people in the US. People don't forget that kind of stuff that easily, and when the government betrays the people, that stays in their mind for a lot of years, and a lot of people haven't been willing to take the vaccine for that reason. When we talk about complacency, this is when people think about COVID and measure it, and since I don't know, there's a lot of cases where people are asymptomatic or not that many people die from it, they just think that it's not worth it. Like COVID won't kill me. I can just get it and deal with it, and they rather not take the vaccine. Calculation. Well, this goes hand in hand with misinformation. It's when people calculate or measure the pros and cons of taking the vaccine with the information that they get from the internet, mostly. And there's where misinformation comes in and becomes a substantial problem, because it is deceiving people into thinking that it may give autism to kids, or unprecedented claims, or claims that have no backup, no uh, medicinal backup or proof. Then we have constraints or convenience. Oh, this is pretty easy. This is how easy it is to get the vaccine, right? If you live in a remote place and there is no vaccination center uh, an hour close to your house, then it is quite a constraint, and people might be heavily discouraged to take the vaccine because it is not easy to access to it. And finally, we have collective responsibility. Collective responsibility is the willingness of people to get the vaccine to take care of other people, right? Well, here we have a percentage of like there are a lot of reasons why you wouldn't take the vaccine, and this was a survey, and where these are the percentage of people and what they chose. It is kind of interesting to see that concern about the side effects and safety of the vaccine is first, followed by plan to wait if it's safe, don't trust the government, and concern the vaccine is being developed too quickly. Those four first things that most people said why they are not getting the vaccine are all associated with confidence, right, in the vaccine and in the government. Well, this is part of Joel's part. Well, now we talked about why this problem happens, and now we talk about what happens with the problem. What does it cause? Well, apart from a lot of death, right, from people not having the vaccine and dying for that reason, we also have a monetary aspect, right? Like here in this chart, it is presented information that in 3 months, almost $6 billion were expended in people with that were unvaccinated and had to be hospitalized. So that is a whole lot of money, and well, it could have gone to other thing if they only had the vaccine. Here is the comparison. Here's people fully vaxxed, 1 dose, and no vaccine, and you can see by the red how it goes up. It is like the rate of hospitalizations in Alberta. So people that are not vaccinated have a whole lot of possibilities of ending up hospitalized if they catch coronavirus. And we talked about the repercussions, and now how can we fix these or make it better? Well, we can encourage people to take the vaccine, right? We have the vaccination passports that encourage people to take their phone, and if they are not vaccinated and they don't have the vaccination proof, they cannot enter certain places or do certain stuff. A possible solution would be mandating vaccines, but that has a lot of downsides, and it's quite controversial to do that. Then we can reduce the misinformation efficacy and build up confidence. So how can we reduce misinformation? It's quite difficult to reduce the misinformation, but we can reduce the impact that misinformation has on us. How can we do that? By fact checking. So when you read something, you should see if that's really real, and that shouldn't be only for vaccination and coronavirus related stuff. We should do that for every aspect of our lives, but we are pretty lazy, and I understand why that isn't that common. And then for building confidence, we can raise awareness about the vaccines, how they are made, which tests did this vaccine pass through, and which were the results, being a lot more transparent builds a more confidence and makes people trust even more the vaccine than if they are just said, take this. And that's it, our conclusion. This will be covered in Joel's video, and there are the resources. Thank you so much for listening to me.